What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to ForTheFans with me and my co-host Ben. And coming up today, we are going to be talking all about Argentina and Belgium's victories in the round of 16 to make their way into the quarterfinals. And because there's no matches on today, we're going to be taking a review and a look back to the teams who have been knocked out in this last round of the tournament and what we've made of their performances. Let's get straight into this.
It is complete. The last 16 is over. The teams are through. The results are in. It's me, Ben, co-host Jack.
I'm decent, Ben. I'm here.
All right, you are there. Yeah,
I am here. 30th episode of the show, this one. It's been emotional, but it's a landmark.
Is that including the preview shows?
Yeah. Well, it's the 21st show, which is my lucky number. We've been doing this for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, every morning, I've sat down with you and discussed football. It's been a dream. It's like a dream.
It's been horrific. Shall we kick it off with well, I described it, Jack, yesterday on yesterday's show as potentially the most exciting match of the tournament so far.
I loved your apology. Can I just say, I loved your, on behalf of everyone on Twitter, I loved the way you apologised to everyone for your lies and deceit. Well,
yeah, it was probably the most horrific game of the tournament so far. I say that, I didn't see around Nigeria, so I don't know how bad that match was.
Oh, I'm going to be honest. The Argentina-Switzerland game it might be the worst game of football I've seen so far this year.
It was. Martin Keown won't have agreed with this, but it was lacking quality, Jack, I would say.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So Argentina lined up with a 4-3-3. They played Di Maria in that. Well, it was kind of a. Was it 4-3-3? Was it 4-3-3 or was it 4-2-3-1? It was probably 4-3-2-1, right? 4-2-3-1. Oh, God.
It was very fluid, wasn't it? It wasn't. I don't think it was a real defined shape. It was kind of just a case of, oh, you go and play over there. Di Maria will stick you out on the right. Do your thing. He didn't do his thing, but...
The reason I ask, Jack, is because about 2 hours into the game, or 2 hours since the start, like during the extra time, I did tweet out, I've been watching this game for quite some time. I don't know what formation Argentina are playing. I didn't actually know. I couldn't work it out. It was bizarre. It was really weird because they didn't have a set formation. They were just in places. And then someone said, "Well, yeah, they're playing Di Maria and Lavezzi on the wings." And I was like, "That's great. Where's Palacio then? Because Palacio's on for Lavezzi now, and you don't really know where he's even playing."
Yeah,
it was very odd. It was very unstructured. It was a mess. Whereas the Swiss, they knew what they had to do. Just every time they got the ball, they gave it away, which. Not the best. Obviously, the Swiss held firm for quite a long time because Senderos didn't start for them, as I predicted he might have done. I would say, what was your favourite part of the game? But that was probably just the end, right?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I feel like the end was anticlimactic. It could have at least gone to penalties. Then I might have enjoyed the end. Then that might have been the best bit. It was kind of like, Di Maria's finally scored. Di Maria yesterday, I know all the stats were floating around, oh, he's given away the ball so many. He scored the latest ever goal scored by an Argentina team at the World Cup.
Really?
And he also recorded the record number of crosses by an Argentine since the 1966 World Cup in a match. And he also attempted the most shots of an Argentine in a single World Cup match since 1966, which was 12.
He had a long time to do it, though, to be fair.
So basically, what we've established here is the fact he gave away the ball a lot, shot a lot, and crossed a lot.
But didn't actually do anything.
Well, he scored, didn't he? So we can't even say he didn't do anything. That's the worst bit of it all.
Shots. Argentina had 29 shots. 29 shots.
29. Half of them were Di Maria's.
That's basically one every 5 minutes or something.
Can I tell you what? If I don't want to go on a Di Maria rant, so I'm not. Can we talk about the one player who really stood out for me? I'm hoping you're going to agree with me here, but I thought Valon Berami had an insane game for Switzerland in midfield.
Considering he played 120 minutes, even in like the 120th minute, he dashed back to take a goal kick or something, or to take a free kick. He was up and down.
He really impressed me. Like, is it? I want to say it's Napoli he plays for, and like I've seen him a few times play for Napoli. He's been pretty solid. But he was really he was the standout player in what was a very poor game. Like, it just seemed like the passing was the worst bit about it.
Have you got any stats on the passing?
I'll pull
Can
you
give me some
up.
stats in the passing while I talk about how...
That's fine. I'll grab you some stats because it was tragic, wasn't it?
I shall talk about Argentina's failure to get the most out of Messi in this game, and I don't really know why. Because although the Swiss set up in a way to stop Messi, I genuinely believe that happened because Messi was not in a lot of space a lot of the time. The players around Messi were not working hard enough for Lionel Messi. Yeah. And that really bothers me because they're playing, and I don't want to just toot Messi's horn again and again and again, but they're playing with, in my opinion, I'm sure people will share different opinions, the best player in the world. And to get the best out of the best player in the world, all you need to do is work hard. That is all you've got to do. All you've got to do is run and pass accurately occasionally. And he will make sure you win that game, as he's proved in the tournament so far.
Well, Di Maria misplaced 21 passes out of 57 attempted. That's pretty really bad. To be fair, Messi, pass-wise, I think about just shy of 80% pass completion, which isn't tragic, but even by his standards, Well,
the issue being, people weren't moving for the ball.
Yeah.
It was all, we're going to stand in these positions. If you can give me the ball, maybe I'll just get a shot and goal. And based on the stats, 29 shots, that's kind of what happened. It was, let's get ourselves into a position to just shoot from it, kind of anywhere, really. It wasn't like there was... I don't know what an Argentina goal looks like. So far, it looks like Messi just getting the ball, cutting inside and shooting. That seems to be a Messi goal right now. But anyway, there was a goal. Messi, funnily enough, feeds Di Maria, who finishes after 118 minutes. And I've never been more angry with a last-minute goal.
I know. I felt robbed.
I feel like they should have just done the penalties anyway. They should have just happened. It should have been, well, we've produced that shit, sorry, Mr. Jack, for 2 hours. We may as well just see what would have happened.
Yeah.
Just the people.
No, I agree. Like, it was a very poor game, and at least if it had gone to penalties, as a spectator, you could have gone with at least it had an exciting end. Because it's very rare that penalties aren't excited. But it was kind of a game where people were just enduring it because it's a World Cup. I think people were watching with hoping it was going to be penalties. I think a lot of people would have turned off if the game could have ended as a draw.
I thought it was just going to be really good, and it just wasn't any good.
I was going to say, you bigged this game up so much. I'm pretty sure I said 1-0. I might be
Argentina?
Wrong.
I think I said 4-1.
I'm pretty sure I said... I might have even said 1-0 Switzerland. I didn't predict goals. I know that much.
I'm bored talking about it. Can we talk about the really exciting game today?
Let's do that. Let's move on. Let's move on to a high.
Okay, well, Belgium played the USA, and it was a game which is a good example of, even if it's 0-0 after 90 minutes, it can still be an absolute cracker. It was end-to-end. I was going to say it was end-to-end. It was in the first half, it was quite end-to-end, and in the second half, it was Belgium versus Tim Howard.
No, Tim Howard. Can we just talk about Tim? Can we give Tim his spotlight moment? He got man of the match, MVP for you Americans.
Of course he did.
He was insane.
Don't do that. They don't deserve that.
I'm joking.
Apologise now.
I'm sorry, everyone. Can I just say, if you don't get my sarcasm, I'm really sorry.
We'll come on to that later.
We will. 2-1. 2-1 it finished, though. Obviously, you said the first half was kind of end-to-end. Second half, not so much. What about the extra time? I feel that's the focal point where it all got exciting.
Well, it was Belgium. Okay, well, can we start from the beginning?
Can do.
I know you just said, can we start from extra time, but I'd like to start from the beginning.
That's fine. I've not got anything to say about the beginning, so I'm just going to sit back and let you do your thing.
I've got loads to say. Origi started again ahead of Lukaku and actually played very, very well, I thought. I was really impressed by him. His movement is... And Lukaku's movement isn't bad, but Origi's movement is very, very clever. He's got very clever... They were talking about it on the summary on Match of the Day, but the way he holds up the ball for someone so young, and then can hold up the ball, and when he sees there's not an option, turn and run at a defence, and then deliver a pass, which is perfect a lot of the time. Belgium spurned loads of opportunities. Is so impressive. He's 19, and it reminds me, and I'm not just doing this for the sake of it. He reminds me of Sterling a little bit. The way he's got that ability to hold the ball up when he can tell and he's smart enough to realise there's not an option, he'll turn and he'll blitz past the defender and then play a ball through to someone who can finish it arguably better than he could, because his finishing was the only thing that let him down yesterday, really.
Yeah.
He's pretty good apart from that. On the other side of it, I thought that Yedlin, who came on after 32 minutes, was incredible.
He's only 20, isn't he? He plays for Sounders.
The work ethic. of that guy. I know he came on after half an hour, so he was a little bit fresher than everyone else. But even in like the last minute of the game, my word. But let's talk about the extra time, because we all saw the game. It was very good. There's so many moments in it that you could talk about. Tim Howard was, throughout the entire game,
a monster.
Was absolutely brilliant. The amount of world-class stops he made. And I want to say that he got a lot of stick in England after he got sold by United and went to Everton, because he made one mistake in a Champions League game. He may have made more, but that's the one that sticks out in my mind. And it is a absolute kind of definition of keepers get so much better the older they get, because his decision-making yesterday in every single circumstance was absolutely spot on.
We talked a little bit about yesterday about Germany giving the ball away a lot from deep. Tim Howard had an 84 pass completion percentage, which is huge. Like, in a game when you're playing a team like Belgium, yes, he chose to distribute it short a lot of the time, but just actually securing your team the ball, particularly when you're not a favoured team, is like such an important thing for a keeper to do.
Yeah. I thought the only thing that the US missed, and I think a lot of it was to do with Tim Howard was playing out from the back. So USA were starting every attack from the back, working it forward. And the only thing they really lacked, and Altidore could have done it, but then again, I was calling for Altidore on Twitter, but then when you saw it after the game, he was limping. So I think that he was never actually going to come on. No. I think he was just named kind of on the bench to be on the bench.
Yeah.
Like he was physically limping after the game without even playing. So I think he was there for show. But they needed a man to run in behind, is my point. Dempsey's very good at holding the ball up. He's a very clever footballer. He's got very educated feet, if you get that phrase. But they needed someone to run in behind. And that's where the US attack kind of faltered.
Zuzi, for me, was very underwhelming for them.
He's been decent this tournament as well.
Yeah, I mean, he did okay, because he came on in the first game where Altidore got injured and they then pushed kind of Dempsey further up. But for me, Zuzi, he wasn't working back, and I do want to talk about Hazard in a second, but Zuzi wasn't working back, and then even when they did have the ball, he wasn't having a massive impact going forward. Did he get subbed off? I want to say he got subbed off in the end.
Zuzi did, yeah, for Wondolowski.
But I don't know, that was a bad one. But then on the flip side, like I said, Hazard had a very similar game, I felt like going forward he had a lot of the play, but he left Vertonghen so exposed, and he really was a weak link. And as you said, Yedlin was just having his way, the 20-year-old. Comes on off the bench. Within 5 minutes, you knew exactly how the game was going to go for the rest of it. He was just finding space out wide and able to find in those balls. And I do worry for Belgium. Like, people talk about their team being one of the strongest kind of teams player for player. I kind of feel like if Fellaini and Vertonghen and even Hazard kind of on that side, the pitch play how they did yesterday, that could be a serious issue for them against a team with a kind of a strong right wing. A team like France, if they stick Valbuena out there. Even Di Maria, if he plays out on the right. I know he didn't have the best game yesterday, but I am genuinely worried for that area of the kind of park for Belgium.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about Jermaine Jones.
Yeah.
When the USA played against Germany, and yesterday for me, Michael Bradley next to him was an absolute metronome in midfield. He was everywhere. Jermaine Jones was getting bashed around all over the place, and he was putting himself about quite like Fellaini does for Belgium.
Am I right in thinking Bradley came on off the bench?
No, Bradley started from the beginning with Jones in the middle, and I honestly thought Michael Bradley was absolutely excellent. He was once again everywhere, and it's so important to have that structure in the middle when you play a team like Belgium, who they all mix together. Mertens, Hazard, De Bruyne, and Origi were all doing it.
See, Bradley started slightly higher up the pitch to begin with, and then they had Cameron. I think this is where I'm getting confused. They had Cameron, who got booked really early on, and they'd kind of put him in, because he was like the athletic option. And I don't know, he didn't shine for me. And then Bradley really dropped into that area, and as you said, he kind of adopted that like most central role, and it kind of really worked for them.
He seems to be just marshalling the defence and starting every attack. Howard would throw it out to one of his centre backs, who would then play it inside to Bradley, and Bradley would be left just to dictate what they were going to do in that attack.
Yeah.
Whether it was hit it long towards Jones, he was just sort of up alongside Dempsey for a lot of the game. Hence, he looked so tired towards the end, because he was starting quite deep, and then as soon as the ball got distributed from Howard, he'd run forward and look to nod it on or chest it down or whatnot. But yeah, Bradley for me was if Howard wasn't man of the match, I thought Bradley was very, very good. Yedlin was also very good, but I thought Bradley had a very underrated performance. What
did you think of De Bruyne for Belgium. Because for me, he impressed me. I know he got the goal for Belgium, the first goal, and then obviously Lukaku got the second. I'm sure we'll come on to him in a second. But for me, De Bruyne he impressed me, particularly when they kind of changed their shape, Belgium, in extra time. They moved him out onto the left. They moved Hazard inside, which I don't get why he's not playing inside in that team in the first place, to be honest. And it just seemed to work.
I don't like De Bruyne very much, actually. I think he's quite an arrogant footballer. I think he thinks, even at his age, that he's better than everyone he's playing with, and I don't think that's the case. If you're Belgium, you may think I'm totally wrong, but I'm just not. I just don't think he seemed a little wasteful to me. He seemed very inclined to have a shot when the pass was the better option. Now, that's not always a negative attribute in a player, because if they're talented enough to pull off the effort, then fair play. And as you say, he did get a goal, but I would have, when Hazard went off, although Hazard wasn't having the best game, I'd rather seen Hazard move inside much earlier, because I think it took until extra time before Hazard went in the middle and De Bruyne went out on the left, and then obviously Hazard went off and Chadley came on, and I think they switched back round again.
See, I kind of feel like as much as wasteful as he was, I just checked after he said he was wasteful, he had 6 shots, of which 4 were outside the area, 2 were blocked, 1 was on target, and 2 went wide. It's
quite a lot from midfielder, 6 shots.
Yeah, but then he did have an 84% pass completion, which was one of the highest on the pitch. So yeah. I feel as if like those shots, perhaps like that, they all came from when he was playing in the centre, and I kind of feel like when he did kind of get his head up and pass, it was a lot better for him. I kind of feel like he was a little bit alienated at times. I know on a few of the shots there was a simpler pass, but for me, it was kind of a case of I don't know. I felt as if there might not have always been a better option on, and I'm kind of the kind of guy who likes to shoot in the stadium. If the ball starts rolling out from a corner towards someone from a half-assed clearance, I'm that fan shouting shoot at the top of my voice, no matter who it is.
Yeah, there are a few times I didn't like the fact that it would come to him and he would just shoot down a blind alley, or he'd run down a blind alley and be forced to pass backwards to like Vertonghen. And I was just thinking, Belgium are a team with very talented individuals. Like, they are blessed with so many of them. And if they work as a team a little bit more, they will slice teams apart. They won't just beat teams. Like, if Argentina, they play Argentina next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If Argentina play like they did yesterday and Belgium play like a team, Belgium will win by a handsome margin. I dare say that. But if Belgium continues to play this kind of selfish football, when Hazard came off, he wasn't happy about it, and he couldn't really complain. He didn't have a lot of the game. So
I would have rather have seen Dembele come on, more for my fantasy football team than anything, but I did feel like they were losing their legs in midfield. I felt as if Fellaini, like I'm gonna pull up his stats, but for me, his job by extra time was just a case of lump it out.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't think he was very good at all. The man that changed the game, though, was arguably Lukaku. Rio Ferdinand said in the studio that if you bring on someone like Lukaku, the first thought as a defender is shit. Because 1, he runs in behind. 2, he's very strong. 3, he's very acute. Like, you saw him run with the ball a lot and play a very simple, obvious pass, and it was something Belgium weren't particularly doing in the game, and it proved dividends when De Bruyne scored. From a Lukaku assist, I believe.
I can tell you, Fellaini's game consisted of 1 failed tackle, 1 interception, no blocks, and 6 clearances. That makes a lot of sense. But what did you make of Lukaku when he came on? Because he had a massive point to prove, and he got a goal and an assist, I believe. Yeah, well, that kind of first assist, the legs won him that. I know he's very strong, and he makes that darting run down the right-hand side. He really impressed me. I don't want to take too much away from that performance, but I think he may well have fought himself back into contention to start against Argentina. For me, much like when we discussed about Wayne Rooney possibly being dropped to get him riled up, get him angry, he's the kind of player you bring on off the bench. I kind of feel like Lukaku fits kind of a similar mould of sorts. I feel as if coming on off the bench, yes, it was a very tired USA team, but he terrified them. And I don't want to take too much away, as I mentioned, because he was coming on against a tired USA side. He's a very athletic player. But at the same time, he was clinical. He hit the target, which is something he hadn't done in his previous starts at this World Cup. And so he looked like he had a point to prove. And for me, he impressed me.
Yeah, he's very good. And he got the second goal, which saw Belgium through. But I say that, Jack, it wasn't quite over, was it?
It wasn't.
Green came on for just like everyone thought the game was done, And then
I think the Belgians at half time, like, right, so we'll get a pint after the game. Yeah.
Yeah, and with not long left, it's fair to say. Actually, no, it was quite a little while left. It was straight after the second half.
It was the 106th minute, less than 120 seconds into the second half.
Scores. It was a great ball through. Was it from Bradley?
It may well have been.
Oh God, we should write this stuff down. Anyway, and he puts it in. Lovely little finish. Courtois left standing, and then for the next 13 or so minutes, you are willing USA all of a sudden. I definitely was. I was all for it. I was every time they went close. Jermaine Jones went close with an effort. Someone else did as well. I forget who that was. But yeah, I thought they might do it, and it just never came to fruition, and I was gutted. But they put up one hell of a fight. My
score prediction here was pretty accurate, because I talked about yesterday how Belgium always score late, and they did it again.
Yeah, they did. It's amazing how many games have gone to extra time in this tournament.
I was going to say, like, is it 5 out of the 8 quarterfinals?
Yeah.
Which is a pretty high amount. There's not been that many goals. Like, I don't mean this in the worst way, but there's not been that many goals in this knockout stage. When you consider, like, previously in the group stage, we were averaging 3 goals a game. Only 2 of the knockout games actually got 3 goals. That was, of course, Germany, Algeria, and Netherlands, Mexico.
Yeah, and Belgium, USA, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that was extra time. And mind you, so was Germany, Algeria, Jack. Right, anyway, moving on.
Shall we go to the Twitter question now?
Let's
and then we'll talk about the teams that didn't make it through, but
sad times,
deserve an honourable mention. So the Twitter question was, there's 8 teams left in the World Cup. If your team's out, which I'm assuming for a lot of English people that was the case quite a while ago, who are you rooting for? Have you got them up, or would you like me to go through them?
I've got some of them up, so I can relate.
All right, well, you go. You read one out.
Okay, so we'll go with Moshik Siltilo. I hope I got your name right. I tried.
Well done for picking that one. That was brave.
I know it was. I thought I'd take the bullet here. Belgium, they're underdogs and can cause upset. It's kind of, with Belgium, they've been everyone's dark horses, but at the same time, they're still a little bit of an underdog. Now, when you look at the teams that are left, they are one of the smaller teams left, as much as they are a strong team.
Yeah, a few people have gone Colombia, and I think it's based off Jimmy Rod.
Jimmy Rod's army has arrived.
Colombia, then yeah.
There's a lot of you. There's a lot of you.
Mikey Boyce has said France because it'll be a genuine surprise, and I like the way they play attacking football, and also they eat frogs. So, you know, a frog lover is Mikey Boyce. Another one is Adam Grant. Costa Rica, they're the unofficial world champions just now, so why can't there be the official world champions? He's got a point, Jack.
Yes, they are basically the best team in the world right now until the end of the tournament.
But as we discovered, the team that wins this tournament will be the unofficial and official world champions.
Has that ever happened before? That's that holding 2 weight categories of championship at the same time. Yeah,
but that will work out, won't it? That whoever beats Costa Rica will take it, and then whoever beats the team that beat Costa Rica will be in that position. So the Dutch have got a chance. Is that what you're saying? They've been the unofficial world champions. Jono also said Costa Rica. It makes drawing to them and topping the group make us look not so bad. I think he's talking about England in that respect.
Oh, okay.
We were the only team not to lose to Costa Rica in the group.
Yeah, if they win it, we'll be the only team not to lose to them.
But as we've discussed before, they literally didn't care. Quite a lot of people actually have gone for Colombia. Joe Moon said, Colombia have looked good so far, but I have to say Costa Rica, in fact he went for Costa Rica, I read the start and he's bamboozled me. And no one gave them a hope or a chance. Good point. And Miguel Correa, who just came in on the Twitter just a minute ago, that's how up to date we are. Colombia because they're the underdogs and because they have Quintero, Jackson Martinez, who are from my favourite team, FC Porto. So thank you for your Twitter answers to the Twitter questions today.
A lot of Belgians, a lot of Costa Ricas and a lot of Colombias. Shout out to Matthew for being different, supporting Germany.
Yeah, I think he said he'd support them from the start, is that right? Yeah. So he's backing them all the way.
And Michael Boyce with France. Shout out for you guys being original.
Right, so shall we go a quick, brief look?
I thought you were going to come and ask me that. Jack, who's your team to win?
Jack, who's your team to win?
France have got a bet of 10 quid on it, 22-1.
Excellent. I am strictly Team Colombia now the US are out. Jimmy Rod's army. Come on. So, shall we start with the game that happened on Saturday? All the way
so just a reminder, guys. We are now going to be going through the teams who went out of the tournament. You know, no football on today. We're gonna assess the performances of some of the teams who we won't be seeing anymore in the competition.
Indeed, I think it'll be a brief assess, though, won't it?
It will be rather brief.
So actually, what we'll do is let's do this, Jack. So we'll go through each team and we'll decide whether we thought they got further or they should have got further. Does that make sense? They got as far as
how did they get on with against their kind of
did they match expectations?
Yeah, yes, gotcha.
Right. So we'll start with Uruguay, who lost to Colombia 2-0. They were a little bit poor in that game, as I recall. They didn't really offer much. But was that more than we expected? I think for us it probably was, because we didn't think they'd get through the group.
No, we thought Italy and their team, who were disappointments, would get through.
Yeah, ultimately
and we were completely wrong. Suarez is a bigger miss for them. I do feel like he probably wouldn't have been able to make a difference against Colombia.
Really? You don't think he would have?
I don't think he would have changed the overall outcome. I kind of feel like Colombia have enough about them going forward that they would be able to outscore Uruguay. I also think if Suarez was playing for Uruguay, as I've said before, I think they would have pushed on a lot more and left themselves a little bit more exposed at the back, and Colombia are the kind of team that can kind of capitalise on that. I
get there's an argument for that he would have been the focal point, but as you say, it may have opened Uruguay up to a Colombian wave. So Uruguay, they've done okay. They've had a decent tournament, but I'm sure they'll be disappointed because of the way in which they kind of went out.
Yeah.
Moving on to Chile, who were excellent in the group, were superb against Brazil in the last 16. They'll be delighted to get out of that group, surely, right?
Yeah, I mean, Spain and Holland is an incredibly tough group. Like, I know everyone was calling the USA group the group of death. For me, that group was, as it's kind of transpired, was more of a group of death.
In which case, Australia died.
Yeah, they were brutally murdered. Nice. Spain kind of, they died a few weeks later. And Chile, this has got very morbid all of a sudden. And Chile and the Netherlands, they impressed me. Chile, I think they'll be happy to get to the knockout stage. I think given their performance against Brazil, given how close they were to kind of, causing that upset when the ball hit the crossbar, I feel like they will feel a little bit hard done by to not be going further.
Yeah, they're probably quite upset that they met Brazil. That's just the way it happened. They finished second in their group. Brazil won theirs. But I do feel like if they played Mexico, who ended up losing to the Netherlands, then that would have been quite the tie.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, the way it worked out, like, Mexico, if they could have got better goal difference, would have actually been ahead of Brazil in the group on 7 points.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Shall we move on to Greece, who played Costa Rica? We should mention, we're kind of halfway through. Well, not halfway through at all. But all the teams that topped their group went through.
They did. We were discussing this before, and I'm sat there going, all the teams who are listed as the home team, Ben, have gone through here. He's like, yeah, well, they've all finished top of their groups. Does that mean the group seedings were done right this year?
I guess so. Well done, FIFA.
Let's give them a clap.
No, I'm not clapping.
Sorry.
Costa Rica won, Greece won, and then Costa Rica won 5-3 on penalties. The Greeks did quite well. I don't think they get through that group.
No, again, another team who would be happy to get there. On the flip side, the fact that they came up against Costa Rica, if I'm Greek, I'm feeling a little bit gutted the way they've gone out, because Costa Rica had one shot and it went in. They weren't as emphatic as they have been in other games. I kind of feel like Costa Rica, the fact they weren't playing against a team who were going to open themselves up by attacking hard against them, was a little bit. It was something different for Costa Rica to deal with, and quite how well they dealt with it is to be questioned. But we're not even talking about that. We're talking about Greece.
I think Greece will be disappointed not to go further. As you mentioned, Costa Rica, although they shined in the group, it's probably the on paper one of the weaker sides in the last 16. For Greece to get them, and especially with them going down to 10 men, they'll feel like they should have gone through.
Well, the Greeks have never got to the knockout stage of the World Cup, so far as I'm aware. So for them, it's a record high. Yeah, I think if I'm Greek, I'd be proud of the performance. I'd be a little bit disappointed just in kind of the manner in which they've gone out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Netherlands beat Mexico. The Mexicans were brilliant in their group. They had a tough group as well. They had Croatia and Cameroon in that group. Two teams I thought would arguably finish above them. I think we talked about in the preview show 3 weeks ago now that we thought Mexico would suffer in that group. We were bigging up their team and saying how great they were, and then we looked at Costa Rica, looked at Croatia and Cameroon, and we're like, this might be tricky.
I have a feeling I said Mexico were going to go through.
Oh, he's never wrong, is he, folks?
No, I definitely did. I'm pretty sure.
Did you really? Well, I'm going to listen back later.
Yeah, we'll double check, and tomorrow we can call my BS if I was BS. But
right.
No, for Mexico, tough draw. They were always going to get a tough draw because of the fact that Group B was so stacked. So kind of unless Australia somehow finished first. given Mexico's group, they knew it was going to be tough going into this stage. So I kind of feel like they've matched expectations there. Perhaps a little bit disappointed to go out kind of having led for so long in that game and then to concede 2, in the last 10 minutes. Particularly that penalty, that's got to be pretty gutting for them. I feel as if they've got a few positives though.
Yeah, they've still got quite a young squad, so they'll be back again in the next World Cup, and they'll all be much older, much more experienced, and they'll have new players in as well that we've potentially not heard of yet. Carlos Ferrero, yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Football Manager reference there. But...
Yeah, obviously. Germany 2, Algeria 1. Algeria started the group that they were in quite slowly and then picked up and were kind of on a bit of a train.
They were. Is that a term? They were on a train.
I've made it up, but it's a good one.
Sounds great. It's like the cake one you did the other day. And Algeria, we'll leave it there. They were on a train.
They were on a train, but sadly the German station was not forthcoming. They were not happy about Algeria being there.
They reached the end of the tracks.
They did. Very good.
Thank you. I'll take a bow for that one.
How do you think they'll feel about it then? Because they're not a bad side.
Again, like Greece, they've not reached this stage before. No. So to go out to Germany, who, let's face it, Germany are one of the strong teams. I mean, fair play is all you can really say. Fair play.
Yeah, but if you are Algerian, I think you've done very well.
No, I'd agree.
So, there you are. Now on to the most contentious issue of the day, Jack. Shall we share with the listeners why?
Yeah, you can tell the story.
Okay, so yesterday we spoke about France, Nigeria, and Jack jokingly said that he thought Nigeria had thrown the game. This has led to Twitter outcry
by one person.
From one particular individual, who we won't name for the sake of it. But, Jack, can you refute the claim that you don't...
I don't think Nigeria threw the game. I was being sarcastic because of the rumours that Cameroon had thrown games in the Ghana FA pre-World Cup and accepted bribes to throw friendly games.
So you're saying that they definitely didn't throw the game?
They definitely didn't throw the game.
Right.
And the ref was paid by France.
Right.
There you go. So France threw the game. I'm sorry if you're French. I've got to be fair. So, tomorrow I'll be apologising for that.
Yeah, where are we? I think Nigeria have had a decent World Cup. They were in Argentina's group, finished second in that group, and they've done okay, really. I don't think they should be too disappointed about going out to the French either. They've had a solid tournament, much like Algeria. Yeah?
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
Don't say anything more about Nigeria. You're in enough trouble as it is. And then we'll go over to yesterday's games. We've kind of touched on them already, but do you think the US, I'm interested to know what you think, do you think they'll be disappointed to go out now?
Yes and no. I feel okay, so now, yes, I feel like they will feel a little hard done by. And the reason, when I say will they, I mean the people who've kind of picked up soccer or football. I kind of feel like a lot of Americans were getting on board with the sport and perhaps had I want to say, not false hope, but kind of there was optimism across the state, seemingly, that they were really going to do well. They had the chant, "I believe that we will win." I believe was the chant that was being chanted across land. I've got to be honest, the first time I heard it, I thought it was a bit silly, but it was growing on me by the end. But when they scored their goal yesterday, I was sat thinking, I believe that we will win.
Some of my favourite films are like American sports films. I'm thinking about like Remember the Titans, and I've got others.
The Blind Side, great film.
The Mighty Ducks. And I was thinking, I would love an American film about soccer. Football.
It's not going to happen now, is it? Disney aren't going to pick up quarterfinal. Well, they didn't reach quarterfinal. No, Disney are dropping that.
Last 16, and I would have loved that, and purely for selfish reasons. And I'm a massive American sports film fan. Just come all over the place. That I would love to have seen that. So now I'm disappointed that they've not gone further, because if they'd won, while it would have been a little bit, just a bit weird, it would have like think of the films.
Yeah.
Tim Howard's life story.
I agree.
Played by Denzel Washington, because he does all the American sports films. So yeah, but
can you imagine Emilio Estevez as as Klinsmann? He's the coach from the Mighty Ducks. I just had to.
Did you see my picture?
I didn't.
I tweeted a picture yesterday of Team USA. You know when the Mighty Ducks represent America.
Yeah.
And they're like his quote was, "We're Team USA and we're going all the way." Gordon Bombay. And I tweeted that picture out.
Can I just say, if you don't know who the Mighty Ducks are and what the film is from 1992, go check it out.
You're about to have the best 6 hours of your life.
One of the best Estevez performances ever.
Yeah, I'm sure. Today's show, I thought yesterday's show was a bit bedraggled.
Well, this is slowly evolving into a film show.
Well, yeah, people will expect Premier League action next year, when in fact we're reviewing the new Batman, Spider-Man film, whatever it is. Superman, sorry, everyone. And then finally, God blimey, I feel like I'm pulling my corpse through this show. The Swiss, they're out as well.
Can I just discuss something with you? I'm hoping you can explain.
Is it about the Oscars?
No. Why does Switzerland have a square flag?
What?
They have a square flag, don't they? Everyone else's flags are rectangle, and Switzerland have a square flag.
Is this really the chat for now?
So let us know on Twitter @ForTheFans if you're Swiss. Why do you have a square flag?
I don't think it was square, but
it is. It's like the white plus sign, isn't it, in red?
Yeah, but no, it's not that.
It's officially square.
It's officially square.
Yeah, if you search Switzerland flag, it's square. It's a square flag. It's like the Nepal one being the two triangles.
Yeah, but they stretch it out for when it's in footballing arenas.
Well, why is it square? It's like the Nepal flag where, it's the two triangles. It's like half a Christmas tree.
Why are we... Right, so do you think they'll be disappointed with their performance?
Sorry, it's been something that's been playing on my mind all tournament, and this is like my last chance to ask.
Right, well, I don't know. Get your answers in.
Switzerland, happy to an extent. Maybe, a little bit disappointed to go out to Argentina. Maybe could have gone a little bit further, kind of particularly with their world ranking.
They're another team that will be disappointed because of the circumstance. Yeah. But quite happy when they look back in a couple of years' time. I think when we went out to Argentina, who at the time had Lionel Messi in their side, like it won't haunt them, I don't think. No. But yeah, I think once again they've had a solid tournament. They let me down on the game stakes. I thought yesterday was going to be a cracker, and as I've already mentioned, I lied to everybody. So again, apologies for that. So that wraps us up, Jack, for today. There's not really much to talk about. No games tomorrow. We shall cover the quarterfinals in much detail from Friday onwards. What are we doing tomorrow? Talking about the teams.
Tomorrow we're going to talk about the teams that went through. It won't be a very long episode, so if you've got any random topics you want us to talk about, tweet us at them. We'll do the review of the teams at the start, and you can just chill with us.
Can I suggest something live on the air right now?
Do it now. I'm preparing myself for this fantastic idea.
Let's not do that. Okay, let's do Q&A tomorrow.
Q&A, so we just get people to tweet us questions.
Yeah, like World Cup related questions or anything you want to
have a few random ones.
Well, ask what you want, and we'll do a whole episode based on the questions you submit. So on the Twitter, this is very important now because I'm going to do a hashtag. Okay, do FTF Q&A.
Is that Q&A?
Yeah. Can you put it on the screen for the?
I can.
Right. So do the hashtag FTF for the fans Q&A. Put your questions with that hashtag, and we will answer all the questions with that hashtag. This is very important.
Or if they watch it on YouTube, leave them down below.
Yeah, and if they're on YouTube, feel free to leave the comment as a question.
Excellent. I'm glad we've established this now.
So tomorrow we'll do a Q&A rather than, and then because obviously we'll look at the teams that are going through when we do their preview shows.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that good?
Yeah.
Excellent.
We good.
Right. Where can they tweet us though, Jack?
If you want to tweet us @ForTheFansShow, let us know what you made of today's episode. What do you make of your team's performance? Are your team still in the World Cup? Maybe you're a Greek, or maybe you're a Mexican, or maybe you're a Nigerian. Let us know how your team got on. Let us know what you thought. Ben, have you got any final words?
Yeah, make sure that's football related. Final words are: I'm sorry for today's show. I don't know what the fuck has gone on. Sorry, Mrs. Jack. From me, Ben, and from you, Jack. We'll see you next time.
We're out.
We might be taking off iTunes for that one.
That'll be fine.